Okay, it's Saturday and it's colder and cold and the wind's going, so well, I'm gonna stay out here as long as I can. Got both trucks put next to each other now. Time to start tearing down the 84, and I'm gonna start with taking the bed off piece by piece the way I built it, and we'll see how it goes. So get it torn apart piece by piece so I can save the pieces. And then we got the new lumber for the new bed. That's at least the bottom of it. The old bed's going to become the headache rack. So I'll keep you updated as we go, but for right now I got to get to work. As I take this bed apart, built it a few years ago, I'm reminded of one thing. When I build something, I don't ever plan on taking it back apart. This is going to take a little while. I way over engineered this thing. Okay, a little update. You can see, got the bed off now. Sitting down on the asphalt so we can use a cherry picker, lift this cab off rather than trying to Armstrong it. Got the fuel tank out. And definitely got to switch the cross members. This cross member back here is about 4 to 6 inches higher than the original on the 72, and the front cross member is flat. That allows the fuel tank to sit correctly. So we're gonna have to. The other ones were rotten anyway, so we got to grind off the factory rivets and switch them out, bolt them back in. So, quick update, got the fuel tank in yesterday. Got it all mounted up in the frame rail, everything looks good. But, the one problem I'm having is with the filler neck. The old truck, the frame for the bed sat up a little higher, so I was able to maneuver around back here and be able to come out to the side. This truck ain't gonna allow it, so this is what I got rigged up so far. Coming around, I cut this piece out trying to make the other style neck work, which isn't going to work, so I'll end up welding that back in. That's not that big of a deal, or I might just leave it out, probably weld it back in. So what we got is I cut the cap filler style off of the neck that I had. I got a 90-degree tube off of the old cab, and then I got another piece of pipe here that fits just perfectly inside of the filler gasket. So now I gotta weld it all back together. Okay, we got the filler neck completed. So got some chicken shit weld down there, and we ended up having to weld the cap neck onto the filler neck, and then just took and bolted it right on. We're gonna trim that piece off so it's not sticking out there. Yeah, gotta go through the bed, but shit, I like it. Okay, update on fuel lines. I did run all brand new fuel line from the tank all the way up to the motor. Rather not try to reuse what was there from 40 years ago. Just got the breather zip tied up there. You notice I got that one capped off there. That was just the evap canister, not using that no more. Got that one capped off. That's the bleed back line from the fuel filter. That was an option, not using that no more. Haven't used it for years. It's been running just fine. So now it's time to put this stack of lumber to use and make a bed. Okay, Project Cookie Monster. The other day when I was working on the bed, which is down above us, I noticed that the bolt holding our brake line, which is our breather into our axle tube, is missing. So I was going to check the fluid anyway, but now I'm going to tear it apart, and I got a sneaking hunch this rear end's full of water. So we're going to find out here. Give me a second and we'll get the cover off. This is never what you want to see when you pull the first 4 bolts out of a rear end. That is straight water leaking out. Okay, I'm going to try to do this so I don't end up with a bath myself. Yeah, that's not good. Tap on it a little more. There, it's loose. Okay, well, there's a little bit of oil left in there. That's now goo. But, as you can see, it does not look like it did any damage. It's nasty. Definitely have to clean it up a ways. But, yeah. Turn this around here. Oh yeah, she's gooey. Gooey, gooey, gooey. But those gears look fine. There's nothing wrong with them. Oh, and in case you were wondering, the tag was still on the rear end. These are factory 410 gears, front and rear. So I'm going to get it cleaned up and then we'll put her back together. A little bit of black magic around the cover and get some fresh 80/90 for it. So I got some work to do. Okay. Got our headache rack done. Looking good. Got our fuel door done. And I screwed up a little bit. I gotta clean that a little bit. Okay, we got our toolbox we're starting to mount. Our fuel door is functional. Rubs a little bit, but it'll wear in. Got the headache rack done. Got the bed done here. You can see that. It's taken a couple days, but we got it. Now see, to hold the toolbox down, people use plates and bolts and all kinds of weird crap. Well, I went down to the, whatchamacallit, yeah, Habitat for Humanity. I got me a whole box of hinges for 65 cents a piece, including some of these ugly chrome ones. Well, hey, what do you know? They'll hold the toolbox down. A couple of real nice screws, 4 in each corner. That'll hold it there just fine. A quick update, in case you backyard mechanics like me run into this issue. You bought a 2.5 inch in and out muffler, and the truck's got a 2-inch pipe on it. Well, what do? You got some options. You can run down to the local exhaust shop, pay about $50 and get a couple of custom fittings made. You can go down to a local parts house and pick them up. They're about $8 a piece. Or if you're like me and you got a bunch of scrap crap laying around, you make one. It's not as pretty as the store-bought. But what do we got here? Okay. I'll show you one I haven't put together yet. Okay. End result. Started with a piece of that. Started with a piece of that. Alright. Well, fits decently in there. A little bit of an air gap. Not a little wire feed you can't fix. And that fits in there. A little bit loose. Again, nothing on a wire feed you can't fix. So, what did I use? Well, I used a piece of this fence post. It's galvanized metal. I've been told you can use it. I've been using it for a couple years on different exhaust systems. Works great. It does release chemicals that are known to cause cancer and all that fun stuff. So have a fan on you or something. Try not to breathe the smoke. Or grind off all the galvanized before you start welding. And then the smaller piece, I don't know if you can see that. It says Nissan. Well, that came off my Pathfinder. Well, The muffler plugged up, it rotted out. So I had that laying around, still had a good piece on it. Well, there we go. There's my adapter. Piece of that, piece of this. Exhaust system's going together.